flipping through the newspapers, switching through multiple news channels, exploring different websites and online mediums for relevant news. Keeping up to date with important news is not only time-consuming but also requires meticulous upkeep of notes for thorough revision. With a limited period in hand and abundant resources to study from, do not let current affairs come in the way of your prelims success. Join the PT 365 program by Vision IAS and advance in your preparation for current affairs. Starting on 9th January at 5 p.m., this 20-day course offers comprehensive coverage of 1 year of current affairs in 60 hours. Join for improved knowledge with complete coverage of The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, Economic Survey, etc. Doubt-clearing sessions and mentoring for thorough knowledge. Access to Sandhan personalized test with 25,000 plus questions. Access to live and online classes for flexibility in timing. It's time to devote your energy to smart learning and not running. Enroll today and excel in UPSC prelims with a strong command of current affairs.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Speaker condemns deliberate parliamentary disruptions as undemocratic. Chief of Defence Staff highlights need for holistic counter-UAS system for armed forces. New SDG indicator on minimum dietary diversity adopted by UN Statistical Commission. Gene editing can be performed in a gentler way using epigenome editing, says studies. Second report of the Standing Committee on Railways 2024-25 presented in the Lok Sabha. In a strong statement, the Speaker has condemned deliberate parliamentary disruptions as undemocratic, highlighting the serious impact they have on governance and legislative productivity. Parliament's productivity has witnessed a sharp decline due to frequent disruptions. While the 17th Lok Sabha functioned at 88% and the Rajya Sabha at 73% of the scheduled time, the situation worsened in the 18th Lok Sabha during the winter session of 2024. With productivity dropping further to just 54.5% and 40% respectively of the scheduled time. So, what is causing these disruptions? There are both substantive and structural reasons. Substantively, disruptions often stem from controversial national or regional issues that dominate public attention, such as the Hindenburg controversy. Opposition grandstanding also plays a role, as opposing parties sometimes disrupt proceedings to delay or block proposals, shifting the focus from meaningful debate to political publicity. Additionally, the anti-defection law introduced through the 52nd Constitutional Amendment under the 10th schedule compels MPs to follow party whips, restricting open debate and pressuring them to join disruptions. On the structural side, the increasing number of political parties has reduced available debate time, leading to conflicts over unlisted issues. Furthermore, the parliamentary framework lacks defined time limits for various legislative activities, such as question hour, which leads to inefficiencies and delays. The implications of these disruptions are severe. They significantly reduce debate time, undermining Parliament's ability to hold the government accountable and pass well-discussed laws, often resulting in hasty decisions. More concerningly, continuous disruptions erode public trust in Parliament, as lawmakers appear more focused on blocking proceedings than addressing key national concerns. Beyond governance, these disruptions also impose a heavy financial burden. Every minute of Parliament cost taxpayers 2.5 lakh rupees, and the logjam of 2021 alone resulted in a loss of 133 crore rupees. Now let's look at the measures to address parliamentary disruptions. These include raising motion thresholds, which would require 20 to 30% of MP support to trigger motions, ensuring focus on significant issues. Another measure is allocating dedicated opposition time, similar to the UK's opposition days, allowing for structured opposition-led debates. Increasing the number of sitting days from 60 to 70 to 120 to 140 annually could also enhance debate and legislation. Consensus building efforts aim to foster cooperation between the government and opposition for effective policy making. Additionally, Clearly defining disruptions and interruptions in parliamentary rules would establish behavioral standards. Strengthening ethics committees is another crucial step, as empowering these committees to monitor and report disruptions would ensure accountability and discourage disorderly conduct in Parliament. With such critical consequences at stake, the need for responsible parliamentary conduct has never been more urgent. The Chief of Defence Staff or CDS has emphasized the urgent need for a holistic counter-unmanned aerial system or C-UAS for the armed forces to address the increasing threat posed by unmanned aerial systems in modern warfare. A C-UAS is a system designed to detect, track and neutralize drones and other unmanned aerial systems or UAS, which pose various tactical, strategic and operational threats. Let's look at the threats due to unmanned aerial systems in detail. Tactically, small drones are being used in swarm attacks against personnel and military equipment. A recent example includes the 2025 Ukrainian drone attack on Russia's Black Sea port of Tuapse. Strategically, UAS can be used to target critical infrastructure such as power grids and communication networks. For example, Houthis used drones to attack Saudi oil facilities, causing significant damage. Operationally, the proliferation of UAS enables terrorist groups to conduct strikes and surveillance with ease. To counter these threats, various measures are being implemented. Remote ID mandates identification for all commercial UAS to ensure in-flight identification. No-fly firmware restricts UAS in no-fly zones and limits carrying capacity. Detection technologies including radar and radio frequency sensors enables early and farthest detection of UAS. Once detected, neutralization strategies are deployed, which include non-kinetic methods such as RF jamming and spoofing, as well as kinetic solutions like missiles, nets, and projectiles. Nations worldwide are adopting advanced solutions, with Israel's Drone Dome system serving as a notable example of an effective counter-UAV system. India has also taken significant steps to strengthen its counter-drone capabilities. The Defense Research and Development Organization or DRDO has developed the Drone Detect, Deter and Destroy D4S system, capable of jamming micro-drones up to 3 kilometers away and using lasers to neutralize threats within a range of 1 to 2.5 kilometers. Bharat Electronics has introduced a drone guard system specifically designed to detect, track and neutralize intruding drones. Additionally, the pilotless target aircraft Lakshya, a reusable high subsonic aerial target system powered by a gas turbine engine and launched either from land or ship, has been developed to support combat training and testing. With the increasing use of drones in both military and terrorist operations, the push for an advanced and comprehensive C-UAS system remains a top priority for India's defense forces. In a significant development, the United Nations Statistical Commission has adopted a new Sustainable Development Goal or SDG indicator on Minimum Dietary Diversity or MDD. This edition expands the nearly 250 indicators tracked under the SDG framework, which was adopted in 2017. This new indicator is jointly managed by the Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO and UNICEF. It addresses the absence of an SDG measure for healthy diets and fills a crucial gap in tracking progress toward ending malnutrition and achieving SDG 2, that is zero hunger, alongside the broader 2030 agenda. The Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs are a global initiative aimed at addressing key challenges facing humanity. The goals include no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, and clean water and sanitation. Additionally, they focus on affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and reduced inequalities. Other crucial objectives include sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, and life on land. Furthermore, the goals promote peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnerships for the goals. Together, these SDGs provide a comprehensive framework for sustainable global development. So, what exactly is minimum dietary diversity? According to the World Health Organization, MDD is achieved when a diet includes at least 5 out of the following 8 food groups, that is, breast milk, grains, legumes, dairy products, flesh foods, eggs, fruits, and vegetables. Now let's discuss the significance of this indicator. The MDD indicator plays a critical role in improving nutritional assessment, specifically tracking the dietary needs of vulnerable groups to malnutrition such as women, MDDW, and children, MDDC. It also aids in tracking global health targets under SDG 2, aimed at eliminating hunger and improving nutrition. Furthermore, it serves as a valuable policy tool, helping policymakers develop strategies to combat malnutrition and mitigate health risks linked to poor dietary habits. Additionally, it is an essential tool for evaluating the impact of nutrition programs worldwide. Turning to the status of Minimum Dietary Diversity Failure or MDDF in India for the years 2019 to 21, regional disparities are evident. The central region of India, particularly states like Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh, reports over 80% of children experiencing MDDF. Age also plays a significant role, with 77% of children aged 6 to 23 months in India lacking minimum dietary diversity. Among vulnerable sections, children from other backward classes have the highest MDDF at 79%, followed closely by scheduled caste at 77.2% and scheduled tribe at 76%. With this new SDG indicator in place, global and national efforts to combat malnutrition can now be tracked more effectively, paving the way for more targeted interventions. Moving ahead, we delve into a fascinating development in the world of genetic engineering. Scientists have discovered that gene editing can now be performed in a gentler way using epigenome editing. So, what exactly is epigenome editing? Epigenome editing is genetic engineering technology that adjusts gene transcription through modifying epigenome, directly targeting the root of dysregulation while leaving the primary DNA sequence intact. Now, let's understand the concept of the epigenome. The epigenome comprises all chemical compounds and modifications, such as methyl groups or histone modification, that regulate gene expression without altering the DNA sequence. The epigenetic processes play a crucial role in controlling gene activity, primarily at the transcription level. Unlike traditional gene editing methods that involve cutting DNA, epigenome editing allows for precise control over gene expression with reversible changes, making it a safer alternative. Epigenetic processes predominantly regulate gene expression at level of transcription. Speaking of transcription, it is the process where a gene's DNA sequence is copied into an RNA molecule, and this is where epigenetic markers step in to regulate gene expression effectively. Moving on to the key epigenetic processes that regulate gene expression. First, we have DNA methylation, the addition of a methyl group to DNA, which can silence genes by preventing transcription factors from binding. Next is histone modification, where chemical changes alter histone proteins, the basic proteins around which DNA wraps, impacting gene expression. Lastly, we have RNA-mediated processes, which use non-coding RNAs to regulate genes. Epigenome editing can be achieved through various methods. CRISPR-based epigenetic editing utilizes modified CRISPR-Cas systems to recruit epigenetic modifiers, altering gene expression without cutting DNA. Similarly, zinc finger proteins or ZFPs are engineered proteins that bind to specific DNA sequences and recruit enzymes to modify epigenetic markers, allowing for targeted gene activation or repression. Additionally, transcription activator like effectors or tails are customizable DNA binding proteins that, like ZFPs, influence gene expression by modifying epigenetic markers. These methods provide precise control over gene regulation, making epigenome editing a promising tool for therapeutic applications. Now, let's explore the exciting applications of epigenome editing. One of its key applications is in the treatment of complex diseases such as cancer, neurological disorders, and metabolic syndromes, where multiple genetic factors are involved. Another promising area is regenerative medicine, where it enhances stem cell therapies by controlling differentiation and promoting tissue repair. Additionally, it is proving to be a game changer in immune system engineering, optimizing immune cell functions for advanced cancer immunotherapies. And here's the most crucial aspect: safe and reversible gene therapies. Unlike permanent genetic modifications, epigenome editing ensures precision and control, reducing risks and offering safer treatments. With such groundbreaking advancements, the future of genetic medicine is taking a significant leap forward. Moving on, the second report of the Standing Committee on Railways for 2024-25 has been presented in the Lok Sabha, evaluating the government's response to recommendations from the first report on demands for grants for the Ministry of Railways. The report highlights several critical issues. Net revenue remains low due to high subsidies on passenger fares, with passenger revenue standing at 80,000 crore rupees, significantly lower than 1,80,000 crore rupees generated from freight services. Insufficient capital expenditure is another concern, as Indian Railways remains highly dependent on government budgetary support, with limited contributions from extra budgetary resources or EBR. For example, EBR contribution in 2024-25 is only 10,000 crore rupees. Operational efficiency is also a major challenge, with freight trains running at an average speed of just 25.14 km per hour, affecting timely cargo transportation. Additionally, delays in land acquisition are slowing down critical infrastructure projects such as the new railway lines. The modernization of railway stations is also progressing at a sluggish pace, leaving many stations without basic amenities. Other concerns include insufficient non-fare revenue generation and slow progress in electrification and energy efficiency. To address these challenges, the committee has made key recommendations. It suggests implementing dynamic pricing models and exploring alternative revenue sources, such as advertising and station leasing. Increasing public-private partnership targets is advised to reduce dependence on government funding. To enhance safety and efficiency, the committee recommends accelerating the implementation of the Kavach, the automatic train protection system, on all high-density routes and upgrading railway signalling systems. Furthermore, the committee stresses the need to fast-track the construction of dedicated freight corridors or DFCs to improve cargo movement. Lastly, to overcome land acquisition delays, it calls for active engagement with state governments and local MPs to expedite the process. The government has taken several steps to improve the railway system and optimize operations. Flexi-fare rationalization has been introduced to adjust fare schemes, ensuring a balance between revenue generation and passenger flow. An e-auction policy has been implemented to enhance commercial earnings and streamline contracts. To improve passenger comfort, new train services such as Vande Bharat and Amrit Bharat trains have been launched. Additionally, alternate accommodation options are being provided through the Vikalp scheme, allowing flexible travel arrangements. In terms of freight connectivity, the Gati Shakti cargo terminal policy has been introduced to strengthen logistics and cargo transport efficiency. With these measures, the report aims to enhance the financial sustainability and operational efficiency of Indian Railways. In today's Place in News, we turn our focus on Vanuatu with its capital Port Vila. Vanuatu has been in spotlight due to its Prime Minister's decision to cancel a passport issued to an Indian fugitive following an Interpol alert. Let's look at some key facts about the country. Vanuatu is an archipelago, part of Melanesia and South Pacific Ocean, situated east of northern Australia and west of Fiji. It consists of over 80 islands with no land borders. It is surrounded by the South Pacific Ocean with an extensive Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ. Formerly the jointly administered Anglo-French condominium of New Hebrides, Vanuatu gained independence in 1980. Geographically, its islands are of volcanic origin with mountainous terrains and coastal plains. Major islands include Espiritu Santo, Malakula, and Efate, with Mount Tabbe Masana on Espiritu Santo being the highest point. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The Supreme Court recently quashed a preventive detention order issued by Nagaland's Home Department, emphasizing that authorities must independently assess the necessity of such detention. Preventive detention involves detaining a person without trial based on a reasonable belief that their actions could harm public order. The 6th edition of the India-Japan Joint Military Exercise Dharmagajan successfully concluded at the East Fuji training area in Japan. The primary focus was on counter-terrorism operations in urban terrain. It also included activities related to United Nations peacekeeping operations such as humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. A fuel tanker carrying fuel for the US military collided with a cargo ship and caught fire in the North Sea off the coast of Britain. The North Sea is a shallow enclosed sea in northwestern Europe. Additionally, the Kiel Canal, one of the world's busiest artificial waterways, connects the North Sea with the Baltic Sea. India has recently imposed an anti-dumping duty on water treatment chemicals imported from China and Japan. Dumping refers to the practice of exporting goods at prices lower than their domestic market cost to gain a competitive edge in the global market. Recently, Visakhapatnam Port received environmental clearance for the phase 2nd and 3rd development. The port is strategically located in Kerala, just 10 nautical miles from the busy international shipping route that connects Europe, the Persian Gulf, and the Far East. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, or SIPRI, has released new data indicating significant shifts in global arms transfers between 2020 and 2024. SIPRI, an independent international institute, is dedicated to conducting research on conflict, armaments, arms control, and disarmament. A new study shows that Cassava's survival depends on indigenous farming knowledge rooted in ancient cultural traditions. Cassava, also known as yucca or manioc, is a root vegetable that feeds around 1 billion people worldwide. It is often referred to as the bread of the tropics. According to the Ministry of Health, over 6.1 lakh TB patients were notified under the 100-day intensified TB elimination campaign launched in 2024. Tuberculosis, or TB, is a contagious bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It spreads through the air via coughs, sneezes, or close contact with an infected person. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.